Here's Matthew 25 in the Word on Fire Bible. The judgment of the nations. When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people from one another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, "Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you by the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?" And the king will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me." And then he will say to those at his left hand, "You that are accursed, depart from me into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me. Naked, and you did not give me clothing. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit me." Then they also will answer, "Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty, or a stranger or naked, or sick or in prison, and did not take care of you?" Then he will answer them, "Truly I tell you, just as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me." And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous will into eternal life. Just as you did it to one of the least of these, you did it to me. Matthew 25:40. Here's Bishop Barron on that passage. A man who understood the theology and ethics of Matthew 25 in his bones was Peter Maurin, the co-founder of the Catholic worker movement. Maurin was born in France 1877, one of 24 children, in the course of his early education, which was supervised by the Christian Brothers. He became deeply inspired by the example of St. Francis of Assisi. In 1909, when the French government turned aggressively against the church, Peter left his native country and eventually began to live in a radical sort of Franciscan life, embracing poverty out of love for the gospel, working as a simple laborer during the day, and sleeping in skid row shelters at night. During those vagabond years, he was struggling to develop a coherent Catholic social philosophy, a theory of economics and politics thoroughly informed by Matthew 25. He knew that the church had codified that section of Matthew as the corporeal and spiritual works of mercy, among which were feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, visiting the imprisoned, burying the dead, counseling the doubtful, and praying for the living and the dead. He wondered what society would look like if those ideals were the foundation of political and social order. He also read with great care the social teaching of the Church, especially as it was articulated in Pope Leo XIII's Rerum Novarum of 1891 and Pope Pius XI's Quadragesimo Anno of 1931. In Pope Leo's text, he discovered the principle that the Pope had borrowed from Thomas Aquinas, namely that while the ownership of private property is allowed, the use of private property should always be for the common good. In Pope Pius's encyclical, he discovered what has been characterized as the structuring element of all Catholic social teaching, the principle of subsidiarity, which stipulates that in matters political and economic, there ought always to be a preferential option for the most local level of authority and operation. The unambiguous application of this principle, Maurin saw, would prevent individuals and communities from abdicating their direct responsibility for practicing the corporal works of mercy. He wanted to build a society in which, in his words, it would be easier for men to be good. It seems like Matthew 25 embodies a central theme of Christian ethics. Take care of the least among you, the least powerful in society. Take care of the most vulnerable. I think Christians today should try and get back to that. But what do you think? What do you think about Matthew 25?